everyone, 'tis I. I want to talk about sibling rivalry and why it can affect not only your childhood, but the rest of your life. I was one of four girls. I have an older sister who's 10 and a half months older than I am, so we are Irish twins. And she was born in June 1969. I was born the following May. And basically, after my mom had her, went in for a 6-week checkup, she found out she was pregnant with me. So that's the way that went. And normally, because of the months we were born, we would have been 1 year apart. She was 1 year older than myself in grade school. But when she was in the second grade, she was held back. So that meant we shared second grade on up together. We ended up sharing our birthday parties, um, everything, including everything to do with school, graduations, etc. And long story short, my life was just a tad bit easier than hers was when it came to education, friendships, dating. People would have said I was maybe more attractive than her. Which honestly, I never thought of myself as being smarter, prettier, etc. I just didn't. And I was kind of indebted because of that by my mother and possibly others to be a caretaker for my sister. My mom would always say, "Oh, your sister's depressed. You got to go look out for her. She needs more friends. You got to take her with you." And so I was a caretaker for her. I was always kind. And for some odd reason, she just wasn't. She was actually fairly cruel when we were growing up because I was kind of a couch potato and she wasn't. And so she would say mean things. I was called fat, teased about my body. And all the while, I kept hearing, "You got to take care of your sister. You got to take care of her. This is your sister." And so it took years for me to realize that I was raised with someone who was just not kind, shared a room with someone who's just not kind. And that ended up carrying over into my parenting as well. When my daughter's estranged, I believe my oldest sister relished in that fact. And then I believe she used that in order to continue to target me when we no longer lived together, when I blocked her. That was a source of comfort for her as well. So growing up, if you experience sibling rivalry, understand it will not happen. It will not stop happening even after you stop living together. When you part ways and you decide you no longer are going to tolerate it, they'll get you, and they'll get you any way they can. So I want you to think about that. I'm not going to say anything mean about my sister, despite the fact that she's got to be probably one of the most uncruel people that I've known and that I've had the displeasure of residing with, spending time with, and investing in. And when I broke free from her, it was a relief. When I told my mom I'm not responsible for her life is her choice, and I'm not going to call her up and invite her out. And I had done that so many times. I had stopped by her house, sat, visited, and it was never really quite reciprocated. And you'll notice it's a one-way street most of the time in that situation. So, anyways, think about that. Don't allow people, whether it's a sibling, child, parent, etc., to treat you unkindly. You don't